I see you. Senorita. Okay. We're live on Facebook. Hello.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I was laughing at the post you made because of the. What are we going to talk about this time? That was funny. That was funny last time, though. That was actually very real. You know, we're live. We're already live, but I haven't shared it out yet. So let me share it out. So we can get some people in here. Yeah, that just happened, but that's the best way.
Yeah, I was already a little bit worried. Oh,
Today? What, today? You're worried today?
Yeah, today, yeah.
No, don't be worried. Don't be worried.
No, but you know what's funny? That always when I have this live with you, I feel that for the whole week I'm preparing. And yeah, and then like I'm in a deep process, and then we talk about that thing, what was happening in the weeks.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so let me tell everybody too, if you get knocked off, many people are getting knocked off repeatedly on these shows over the last 2 weeks. So there's a Zoom link if you want to go to the Zoom room and watch it uninterrupted. You can make comments in the Zoom room. They just don't show up on the screen. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like today I woke up and, of course, since the last time we talked, all these things are happening, right?
Yeah.
Everything just keeps happening. And I actually feel really good. But I thought we would just, like, what's going on with you? And I shared out to all the different groups and everything. We got 27 people in the house. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for your continued love and support and contributions to keep us going by the seat of our pants every day. We have no problem with that. We enjoy what we're doing. And somehow, miraculously, we're able to do it every day. And if these shows resonate, please share so we can stay above the algorithms on Facebook. We're really taking a beating lately, but you know what? That's okay because we're broadcasting to the entire universe and we have full galactic and star family support and everything else. So every time Maya and I get together, we always have an interesting conversation. I enjoy talking to you. I was happy. I only have one show today. We're taking some time off, and I'm happy that it's you. So it's morning for me. It's 10:06 Hawaii time. I've had a real hard time getting up over the last 5 or 6 days. I feel like we're doing a lot of work in Dimension. My body's physically tired. My mind's very alert and very excited and active. I'm watching 3D and 5D side by side, and I'm kind of like standing in the middle. I'm a little bit out of it or off planet. So that's all the more reason to hand it over to you.
Okay.
Whatever you want to talk about, whatever's been going on, however you feel. Yeah.
I mean, first I want to mention something that, so I had a session with a beautiful sister, and I think she got to me through your SOULSPEAKS, and she said, you know what, Maya, you two should do like a joy transmission. So you just laugh. Both of you laugh for 1 hour because when you're laughing, it's like she's really relaxing and happy. And I feel like that when I hear you laughing. I'm just like, oh.
That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. I think that's a great idea. I mean, well, it probably would have happened anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that's on your mind? Do you have anything that you're experiencing that's on your mind? Or do you want to just talk about your sacred sexual life again?
maybe another time when I have some new experiences. Yeah. what would I talk about? I mean, right now I feel so strongly, and I was posting, I think yesterday, and I feel this message repeatedly coming to stay in our neutral space,
Yeah.
in a 0 point space, and to just anchor there no matter what's happening. Because for me, this was a crazy week. Was one of the most intense weeks that I had in a long time. And okay, was the eclipse, the full moon, and my period is on the full moon, so it was that. And I was just knocked out. I was in bed for 2 days, just doing nothing. And always when there is an intense period, I receive a lot of messages from people. And this week, it was extreme.
Yeah.
Everybody was, everything is coming up.
Yeah.
The deepest stuff, the really intense and painful stuff is coming up. And it's difficult, but it's so interesting because right now, it's kind of like I hear this from others as well, because I was talking about this with people. I was curious to hear also their experience. And it's like we are dealing with it with more lightness. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe on that side of the world you are. But you're right. There everything is coming up. I don't talk to a lot of people, but I interact with a few people, and I'm finding that I have to be alone. I mean, obviously, I live with Morgan, and we honor each other's solitude, but most of the time we spend our time together. Most of the time, and certainly when we're talking about these things. But I'm finding with other people that stuff that's coming up. I have to be quiet about it. If I don't know what to say, I just got to be quiet about it. And this whole thing, this old way of communicating where, expectations of a response, expectations of behavior, conditions of relationship, conditions of love, conditions of trust. I just, on one hand, it's making me sick to my stomach. And on the other hand, I have a very, very clear alignment, congruence with my higher self that says, just walk away. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say a word. You don't even need to talk to him.
Yeah, but this is also what I mean by staying in this neutral space. And also when people ask for advice, which happens to me daily, okay, I give some tips and directions, but mostly I hold space and I just turn the focus back inside to them, because this is what's happening. And also, if I talk with friends, and okay, this week I was keeping my communication to a minimum because I just didn't feel like communicating, and I was really working on just my own inner balance. And I know how I am in that situations. If somebody is if I push myself into talking with somebody, then it doesn't go well. Let's say like this.
That's right. Yeah. See, and thank God I'm not the only one. But I've learned to be softer, but I've also learned to be quiet. Like it's I'm not saying, okay, like if something happens between us and I'm faced with either do I say something because she said something to me or she did something to me or whatever it is. I'm actually in the space now where if I don't know exactly what to say, if I'm not exactly balanced in a line, I'm just not going to say anything. And then that creates some, I don't know what you want to call it. It creates something on the other person, and they get upset or they project, or I just hope and pray that we move into a place where we can respect each other's silence and not let our imagination run crazy, But I think that's a good choice what you're doing when you just don't talk, because I'm not in control. I'm not in balance. I know that, and I don't want to say anything. So I'd rather say nothing.
Yeah, but also, this week, so it was really intense, and it was the moon and everything, and I had my period. And when I have my period, I know myself for 2 days I disappear, because I know that I'm just, I don't know if triggered is the right word, but it's like I'm waiting for somebody to say something wrong, and I can go off. So I just stay away from people. But in one situation, I just couldn't
Yeah.
keep it to myself. I mean, because it was very interesting, these things are pushing, they want to come out, certain things that we need to clear, right? And they are pressing and they are showing up, and um, it seems bigger than it is, especially in these gateways.
Yeah.
So that's why I always prefer to wait, because it seems bigger, and so I can't always react like I would like. But in this specific situation, I was not able to let it be.
Yeah.
So I said something. I tried to communicate something to a person that I am extremely connected to.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand what I wanted to say. And he was right, it wasn't clear. And
Yeah.
he became like, I don't know, because he didn't tell me, but I felt that he was becoming upset. And he was asking me, when I said that he didn't understand, he was asking me, so what exactly did you mean? Tell me now, write it. We were typing messages. And I was starting to feel, that he was getting upset or nervous. And I don't know if it was him or me, but I was getting upset and nervous. And, usually in this situation, because he's one of the people that is my biggest trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would go even deeper usually into the not being clear, but I managed to calm down, and I said, I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now.
Yes.
I can't clearly explain this. Can we do this another time, please?
Yeah.
And the answer was okay.
That's a great thing. I mean, I got the thing where, okay, tell me how you feel now after I told you all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to say nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can't, because I'm not confident. I'm not sure that I'm not going to go off or say something that's going to hurt someone's feelings. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to offer anything to anyone that doesn't ask. If they ask me, then I'll offer them, and I usually say, "Are you sure you want me to hear it?" And I don't get it that much because I don't really do the type of work you do and others do. But I don't offer things up, but I find that people offer things up to me. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to Soulogy, and this is not just recently. This is through the last 8 years. People come and say, "You should do this and you should do that," or "You're not doing this right. You're not doing that right." And inside of me, I'm like flipping them off. I'm like, yeah. But on the outside, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be more balanced. I'm trying to be a stabilized, illuminated light. And I'm not saying that I'm succeeding greatly at it. I see some improvements, but I know the best thing I can do is take care of my own shift, and not get caught up in what I perceive, because I could be wrong, and not get caught up in what I perceive as someone not handling theirs or projecting on me or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I mean, as we are learning conscious communication, we are learning it now. And how I see it, I truly believe that everything in my world is my creation. So, and I don't I have to say that from all the people that write to me, I mean, everything is nice. I don't have to try much in the communication, but Yeah, so what I wanted to say was that in every, since I do believe we create our own reality, and I see what I see, but this is not necessarily the same as the other person is seeing.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
everybody is understanding everything what I say and do through their experience.
Yeah.
And I cannot judge that, but also if it doesn't like fit with my beliefs, I shouldn't engage with it because it's not my thing.
Yeah.
How others interpret my words. And I think this is maybe like the ultimate challenge, that we can learn to communicate knowing that each of us has our own reality.
Yeah.
And knowing that we are projecting on others. I don't think there is anyone who doesn't ever project, on others.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I wonder, because I wonder if we're not actually starting to be aware of when we project, because it's so obvious. It's obvious when we're looking at someone else do it, or they're doing it to us, and we don't always see it when we're doing it. But just making the conscious decision to be quiet and to say nothing, or not to answer the message, or that, to me, is better than the potential of engaging in an old 3D conversational loop of codependency and agitation and futility. So if it didn't work before, I'm going to shut up until I figure out how to say what needs to be said. You know what I mean? Because I think that for me is, I'm only speak for myself, but that for me is a better way than to go back to the old ways. Because the old ways is, I say this to you, Maya, now I wait for my response. And we just go back and forth and back and forth, and the messages just get longer and longer and longer and longer. You're like, okay, let me explain to you exactly what I mean. And by the time you get through that, you're like, okay, what the hell just happened? And then you go back and you start reading the words over and over, and you say, you said this and you said that, and and it's like, what? It's futile. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, because the old way is about reacting, unconsciously reacting. So you react from your past experiences, not from this moment, because you apply what happened to you at some point to the words that the person is saying. But what we are learning now is responding. And sometimes you need to take some time in order to be able to respond from the present moment and not from that habitual reaction pattern we have. And I think this is really big, taking time. Like our society is in a hurry all the time. Like we have to do everything fast. There is already the next message waiting. I think we feel the pressure to answer immediately. And for me, a big thing was take time. Just take space for myself, and take the space and the time to feel. What am I feeling right now? For example, in a conversation, and then respond from that, not from an old wound that is triggered by the words.
That's right. Yeah. And if we can, I'm not saying this is the right way. I don't see any other way. If there is a place in the middle as we transition, like from the old way of communicating to the new way, and in the middle is a lot of silence and a self-introspection, and why is this happening? What does it mean to me? What am I missing? We take it in ourselves. If that's the way it works, we're respecting ourselves. And maybe that turns around to when people do it to us, that we can respect their silence, that we don't need an immediate answer. If I send you a note and I get upset because you don't answer me back immediately, that's a conditional love frequency. Conditional love frequency. I don't need to tell you, Maya, that I love you. Okay? I carry a frequency of I love myself, therefore you know I love you. I don't have to say a word. Okay? Because these days of saying, oh, I love you, that's like this codependent frequency. Let me make sure that you still love me. Let me make sure that you like me. Let me make sure that you approve of me. This is all of us leaving this stuff behind. It's not just one person or the 1% or the first waivers that are doing it right. We all have to do this. That it's all old programming. Oh my God, what's her name? Marie Batchelor was on yesterday. Marie Batchelor from Victoria, Australia. Fascinating. And she said, when there's self-concern, that's a program. Like anytime there's self-concern, that's a program. And I think in terms of these interactions and these conversations and these relationships that we have, that to me really speaks loud. If I'm concerned about, oh, they don't understand this about me. Oh, they did this to me and they don't get it.
Yeah.
Me. That ought to be a big red flag now for us. And this is new territory. So nobody's in the wrong. Nobody is to be blamed. It's just a transition we're all going through, and we be honest about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember just now when you were talking about this, I remembered of the period. So after I quit my lawyer job, and for quite most of the years until now, mostly my father. So he did not understand why, how could I leave behind all those years of study and the possibilities that I had and everything as a lawyer. And when I was really trying to explain, and every time I got nervous because he didn't understand, and he got even more nervous because I was nervous, and then it was nothing, like nobody was happy in the end. But I realized that firstly, as I became more anchored in my decision, I mean, I always knew my decision was right, but I was struggling in that time, like financially and like in many ways, going through processes. So I was not, let's say, in a stable inner space. I was searching, I was discovering, I was throwing myself off cliffs in the water and almost drowning and coming out and repeating. And so, when he was asking me, for example, what do you actually even do? And why did you leave? And what's your plan? When I was answering him, not just the words, but the frequency that was actually the frequential message of the words was uncertain, was not clear.
Yeah.
So he, even beyond the words, he was perceiving this unconsciously. And so he was getting nervous because it wasn't clear. And I saw that once I really anchored in what I'm doing, what I am, and the ways that I'm living my life, I could speak so clearly to him that even if I didn't say like very much, he accepted it calmly, more calmly. So
like it's okay to say I don't know. And you can be balanced and say I don't know, or you can be shaking in your boots saying I don't know, or you can say
people feel your frequency. So that's a big thing. Like when you are really sure of what you're saying, even if you're saying I don't know, but you are really okay, I don't know, and I'm okay with it, then that's a clear message, and the person will receive it as clear. It will not be like like a disrupted signal. So I think this is a big part of the new paradigm communication also, knowing that we are communicating not only through words but through frequency. And we have to align everything, the words, the actions, with the frequency. When it's all aligned, then it's like an arrow that goes straight into the target.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's right.
you're missing it, and the person perceives that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then if something comes at you, you can be quiet. Where does that go then? Because if I'm quiet, where does it go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a great thing about the silence thing, is it gives everyone time to be in their own thoughts, and
yeah.
it's yeah, it has been a interesting month, 3 weeks. Yeah, and I bet you did have a challenging time with what happened to you, eclipse and the full moon, and getting your period and all that. I mean, that had to be intense. I don't know. It's I feel like I feel like that we're making progress. I see a lot of people that are materializing what we would consider luck or miracles. A lot of people taking the leap. A lot of people, like you said, in that example of when you're talking to someone, like when you're talking to your dad, if you're aligned and you're stable, even if you're sleeping for 2 days, or even if you're in solitude, or even if you don't know, we can still hold that balance. That's possible to do that.
Yeah. And I feel right now it's a lot about holding that balance. I mean, I feel now we are anchoring in the balance, because before we are falling out, we had to come back in, and it was a little bit longer period. But now I feel we are, I don't know, let's say maybe extending those periods where it's becoming more effortless to hold the balance.
Yeah. What's it been like with your clients? What are you seeing with them this month?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, like I was saying, were experiencing big overwhelm, and it felt like it felt really, really big. And then when we talked about it, they saw that it was amplified because of what's happening. But there was an underlying reason for the overwhelm, and that reason was asking to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but big overwhelm, and a lot of deep stuff, things that they had been putting off to decide on.
Yeah.
This stuff is coming up now.
Yeah.
In this month. So I was saying, I think in the end of June, that I feel that this summer will be like I don't even know which words to use, but that we will make such a leap, or prepare to make a big leap.
That feels like it.
Yeah.
It does feel like it. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like on the verge of like the miraculous. Like the two shows I did yesterday, they were a great example. One of them was a man who has a lot of oral history, indigenous Lemurian has been handed down to him, star family knowledge through transmissions, through initiations, but so down to earth and laughing. And then Marie Batchelor, who's this medical doctor who has this transformation through some trauma, but so down to earth. I don't know. For some reason, I see that being the key, and it sounds so crazy, being just relaxed, raw, authentic, no BS. Somehow or another, as simple as that sounds, that's like the key to the miraculous. It's like that's it right there. Just actually, not being caught up in yourself, not being caught up on a label, not being caught up on a past life, not being caught up on a trauma, not being caught up on what you're going to do in the future, but just being you in this moment. And so much of that is, hey, Maja, I woke up sleepy. I don't feel good today. I drank 2 cups of coffee. I'm still hungry. I'm not with it. I mean, that's okay. that's actually golden, you know. And then everybody takes their mask off, and maybe that's how it works. I don't know. You know, Dorothy, click your heels and go home. You know, I don't know how that works, but I see that honesty and that childlike qualities of people where they're not embarrassed, where they're able to say, I don't know, I don't get it, I don't want to talk, I don't feel good. That's great. That's a great thing to hear, you know, because then you don't feel like you're the only one, for one thing.
Yes, and it's, you know, when somebody says these things to you from really this space of authenticity and vulnerability, you feel it. You feel it in a second. Okay, this is like this, and you relax because I mean, it's another person, you know, that is just being themselves. The person is giving you permission to be, okay, actually, I also don't feel so good. So, you know, it's okay. And it's authentic. And this frequency of authenticity is like a key that opens every door, I feel, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it is. It's pure.
yeah.
So I've been going to YouTube. I go to YouTube throughout the day, and I just look for stuff, you know, just sometimes it's a distraction, and sometimes I just need to, you know, move my mind away. And I've watched several of your videos,
Oh.
you know. I started about a month ago. So they pop up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But they're really good. I don't know if people have checked them out. I just pops up on my YouTube newsfeed now, my YouTube feed. But is it under your name, the channel? I should have looked.
It's under Irresistible Tribe.
That's right, Irresistible Tribe. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, but those are really, really good. They really are. Are you doing those regularly every week or what?
So I was doing them regularly, but for the past 2 weeks I didn't because I would I was first my computer died when
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde started, and then last week or this week, last week, I don't know, for 2 weeks I didn't do it, but the plan is to do it once a week, yeah. Because I feel I express myself well through video, and I feel I can transmit a lot. I mean, the people who watch them, they really like the videos. Yeah, so I want to keep doing it. Yeah.
Well, the one that I saw, I think it was yesterday. Was it wasn't a very long one. Here it is. Yeah, the 3 steps
The last. Oh yeah, yeah.
to align when your overwhelm hits. Yeah. I was like, okay, I know where she's at.
Yeah. This one I posted this week, and I posted it just on Facebook, and then I thought, okay, I will upload it on YouTube, and it got a lot of response on Facebook actually. Yeah, I thought at first maybe it's too basic, but
no, I think that's what works.
What?
Yeah, I think that's what works. The simple, the basic.
Yeah, and it's also just what I really use every day, and this week especially I was using this because I was extremely overwhelmed. Yeah.
Somebody said here, oh, and I also want to tell you, if the video keeps going off, you can go to Zoom and watch this show. We've been having problems for the last 2 weeks, so there's the Zoom link again. And okay, well, it's there, so you can just watch it there. Yeah, I wanted to show people. Is it okay if I show them? Okay, I wanted to show them because it's a new. I mean, you're really kind of just getting it going, but I thought that would be a good one to show them because it is shorter and it does show how you know what your style is like, and it's actually very easy to. It's very easy to align with your method of delivery. So is it okay if I show them?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. This one here, let me just let it explain itself. Okay, so here we go. This one's called 3 Steps to Realign.
Hi everyone. There is a question that I've been repeatedly receiving recently, and I just thought to make a quick video about it. And it's how to serve these intense energy waves. You all know that this week we just had the full moon and the partial lunar eclipse, and it was very intense. For me personally, it was very intense. And it coincided with my period as well, so I was just knocked out. I had to sleep for 2 days, literally, I'm not kidding. And I was overwhelmed by certain things in my life, and everything seemed really big in the moment. So I will share what I usually do when this happens, and it helps immediately. So the first thing that I do is just take a moment to breathe. Just breathe, come to your breath, stay present, be present with your breath, and just take a few slow breaths, simply breathing. The next step is allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling in the moment. However strong and overwhelming it might be, if you allow yourself to feel it, you will receive the message that it has. And remember also that during these energy gateways, everything is amplified. It feels much bigger and much more overwhelming and daunting than it truly is. But it is there, otherwise it wouldn't show up in your reality, in your experience. So when you allow yourself to feel it, you can receive the message knowing that it's super amplified. And so the third step, the third thing that you do then is return to your center. What you can do this by placing your heart, your hand on your heart, and just commanding, saying to yourself, affirming, I return to my center, or I am in my center. Just repeat this 3 times or more if needed, with deep intention, because intention creates the shift. It immediately brings you back into your center, out of these waves that are happening around you, into your sacred space, into your stillness. And then you can again repeat all the 3 steps back. You are breathing slowly, taking a moment to breathe slowly. Allow yourself to feel what's unfolding, to see what's being shown to you. Come back into your center. This is what I use always, and it always works. Sometimes I need to repeat it, but it works. And another thing to remember is that you are the creator of your own experience. And what these energy waves, these powerful gateways, what they are showing us, what I feel they are truly showing us, is how we can master our own experience, how we can ride the waves, learn the lesson, learn what wants to be shown to us, and do it in an aligned way, and minimize the time that when we are overwhelmed and outside of our center. So we can use these waves just to realign and to become more of ourselves in every moment of every day. So I hope this helped. You can let me know in the comments. And yeah.
See, it's very easy to listen to. I would imagine that your sessions online probably are a lot like that.
Yeah.
So you sit there with them like this and
Mm-hmm.
and you have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's that's a good. It's these ways that I saw Joe Delaney on there. He talks about putting the hand on the heart, and that method he uses. Morgan taught me 3 fingers mudra, to the heart. But I think it's just the conscious, and we always look, well, not always, but it's been so complicated. We're always looking at these complex methods, and read this book and it's this thick, and and all this stuff, and it really is that simple. It is that, it's that beautiful simplicity where we can actually attach to, you know, the eternal, the infinite part of us, and turn off all that. You know, just
Yeah,
you
you
know,
know, I think the path to mastery is actually a return to simplicity.
Yeah.
Because it's not complicated in the end. We are complicating everything, but the best solutions are always very simple. I find this in my life like more and more as I go forward. Yeah.
So, and what's going on with your life? Are you going to be traveling anytime soon?
Hmm. Not soon. Um, no, not soon. I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling maybe October or September. I don't know. I think something is preparing.
Something's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like something's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see. I mean, I don't feel I will travel now like before that.
Yeah.
I was just on the way. I feel now when I do it, I will go somewhere and then return back here. But I do feel something is coming.
Right. I feel like something's coming. I feel like something, and I don't know if it's the summer or I don't know. So what is the, I don't know much about the gateways, but I do remember one of the first times I ever really paid attention would have been in 2016 at a Lionsgate, which was the 8/8, right? That's 8/8.
Yeah.
And all of these divine essences or whatever you want to call it came into my studio, like a bunch, like 20 of them. And I met Merlin that night and was gifted some things. And for me, it was not normal to have that extensive of an occurrence. But I remember that August 8th, 2016, and the ones after always seem to be very prominent. What is the Lionsgate? What is 8/8?
I mean, don't ask me these things.
Good, because I don't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I thought maybe you would know, but they're big though. What I mean, they're big.
It's huge. Lionsgate, you know, so everything I tell you is just what I feel, but I can never explain this thing, you know, like some people know how to explain what is everything, what is channeled, what it means, what it's connected to. I don't know. I'm clueless about that stuff. You know, sometimes I like to joke and I don't know, I say that I'm like a peasant, you know, in these things because I like it very simple.
Yeah.
I feel that Lionsgate is, I don't know, maybe the biggest gateway of the year.
Yeah.
Is very strong, and it's been building up towards done. I mean, we are already basically in the gateway in what's, you know,
Yeah.
this powerful period that's leading up there. And for me, as I see gateways, well, sometimes I receive specifically, like for example, tomorrow, 22nd, is the Mary Magdalene Feast Day. And that's always a strong day for divine feminine codes and energy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember last year, and I'm feeling the same this year for tomorrow. And for Lionsgate for me is just a huge gateway for transformation, like for really like life-changing things.
Yeah. That sounds
And a big influxes. So yeah, I can't I don't know how to explain these things.
Have you had any I don't know, otherworldly, are you seeing any type of increase in your higher sensitivities or your third eye interactions or just, you know, dimensional experiences, interdimensional, anything like that? Are you feeling anything different?
I mean, so right now, in this period, I've been a lot feeling that a lot was again happening in dreams.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of work done in dreams, and I was receiving a lot of messages in dreams, which for me is not usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that people have been dreaming more, like significant dreams, and it feels like the veils between higher dimensions are, I don't know, almost non-existent, very thin.
Yeah.
And I do feel that I am more, that I can feel people more, that I am receiving more clear guidance, but I'm not having, let's say, higher galactic presence or any like this. I mean, these things, I don't know, in the last months, I just feel everything is inside of me.
Yeah.
Like that the entities or beings are not coming anymore to me because everything is within me. And, you know, it doesn't mean that nothing will come. I don't know.
Yeah. It has felt different. It has felt different.
Yeah.
I had a little dragon episode last night, and I saw a couple of things, I think the night before, but nothing major. But it seemed like the last couple of weeks, it's been a very human, you know, like what's gotten louder has been the ability to feel and to sense and to, I don't know, be in my own power, be in my own energy field. These human interactions that we were talking about, it's like I can see clear. I'm not saying I'm judging anyone or, you know, but it's just like I can see clear, and it's become very, like I had one 3 or 4 nights ago out on the balcony, and I merged with everything that was there, but there was nothing dimensional. There was nothing etheric or non-physical. It was the trees and the cars and the air and the plants and the ocean and the clouds and the sky. It was everything that was there, and that's what I heard. I heard everything you have is here.
Yeah.
Everything you have is here. So it's like, I don't know, it very similar to what you just said. It was like, okay, is all that stuff gone now? You know, and I kind of found myself looking around. I wonder if I'm going to see anything anymore at all. You know?
Yeah, you know what? For some time, when this shift happened, you know, when like let's say the beings, the guides were not coming to me anymore, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Then I realized everything is inside of me, you know.
Yeah.
And okay, I remembered something now while you were talking, that this morning when I was doing my practice, so I have a morning practice that I do pretty much every day. And I was meditating, and I just go, you know, in my inner space. And okay, I have this week, I have one intention that I'm anchoring.
Yeah.
And I was like anchoring that intention, and then I was seeing a ritual, and it was telling me that it's activating something with Lemuria.
Okay.
And I was feeling like going through all my main energy centers and activating something, and I felt this huge light actually, you know, activating inside of me and then switched on. Yeah, so I remember, see, I just forget things.
Right.
Who knows what I forgot? No, but yeah. And you know what else I feel? That manifesting is like almost immediate now.
Yeah. Yes.
When
That's
you
true.
decide on something, when you even maybe just think of something with more intention, it happens very fast.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. A friend of mine that's here visiting us just experienced that yesterday. But it is it's happening, and it happens on the small things too, like the little things. Like, oh, well, that's funny. I just thought I needed this, and here, and then an hour later you get it, and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
said, now can you go over again what type of sessions you do for people online, and
Yeah.
you know how they get in touch with you?
Okay, so for now, I still do like single sessions, so one-time sessions, where I connect to the field of the person, to the higher self, let's say, of the person, higher aspect of the person, and I allow myself to be guided by that higher aspect, and that's how I know where to direct the conversation. And then we talk about certain things, and the person is actually, you know, starting to answer their own questions.
Right.
Because I create a high vibrational space where they connect more easily with their higher aspects, and and whatever they are asking me about, I actually hold this high vibrational space that makes it possible for them to become really clear on things. And then it's the frequency that I hold, and people tell me, you know, that they feel very completely accepted, and that it's just okay that they are who they are. And I think, you know, that's the, I don't know how you call it, the love frequency. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The Trinity activations, I was curious about that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what was very interesting? So a woman wrote me, she bought the activations and she doesn't speak English.
Mm.
And, you know, I guide most of the activation in English, and then one part is in light language. But then she wrote me that, you know, what she was experiencing, and that she was clearly receiving the activation, even though she didn't understand the words of most of the activation, meditation.
She still got it. She still got it though.
Yeah. And so I was just today posting a few testimonials or feedback that I got on the activations. And yeah, like people experience all kinds of things. They see visions, they have shifts. Yeah, it's powerful.
These light codes that you have on the light code tab.
Yeah.
Those are interesting. So you're just saying, click it and see where it takes you.
Yeah, just for fun, like.
But now, do you receive these with the light language when you get these?
These I receive, no, just like this. I mean, sometimes they come together. Like, for example, the pink one that was like on the light code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
So up this one in the middle, in the
Yeah.
first row. This one I received with the meditation with language of light, and it's a meditation to activate inner joy. And this is a light code for joy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this is what I'm doing now. But I will create now, I feel very strongly, it will be, okay, what people call a membership site, but it will be just a space of social media where I will basically, you know, I envision it, I'm still working on it, but I envision it like a living room where I can invite people and we sit together.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I share what I receive, transmissions, and just my presence, and answer questions and things like that, something like this.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I really feel, and people have been asking me, like, how can we be in touch with you consistently?
Yeah, and maybe that's. I think that's a great idea, especially when you make it very casual, you know.
Yeah.
And just like this, like what we're doing right now. I think that works pretty good. So you're they can contact you at irresistibletribe.com or on Facebook. Okay, or on Facebook, and I think you should do that. I think you should do that. I think that's that's a great concept. Like just set up the camera. I mean, you could do it with Zoom. You could do it just with the camera on you and with the phone for the comments. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, we'd love to help you expand that any way that we could, if we could help. You know, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I got a date with a dragon. I'm gonna head out. It's beautiful seeing you. I look forward to doing it again.
Yeah.
I always enjoy getting together with you. You take care. Have a good evening. Thanks for coming in so late.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay.